Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Acurx Phamaceuticals is a publicly held clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing a new class of antibiotics for infections caused by bacteria. And with me is the CEO, David Luci, to explain more about what the company's doing and where you are business-wise right now. And let's just talk a little bit about your market cap is low, I mean, in terms of publicly traded companies. And then Summit Therapeutics, which is also working on a similar drug as you are, but actually failed phase 3, but they have a larger market cap. So how do you see that discrepancy?
Well, Summit Therapeutics has been around for a long time, as you know, on the NASDAQ. They did fail phase 3. They're analyzing their data, and they're looking for niche indications, as I understand it, down the line from frontline therapy in C. difficile, patients with autoimmune disorders, patients who have been multiple COVID patients, microbiome-related problematic patients. So it's all where they originally wanted to be a frontline therapy company because it's $1 billion opportunity frontline, and now they're, unfortunately, with their phase 3 data, they're down the line. But we wish them well, and we hope that their product gets approved, just like we hope well for our product, because it'll be better for patients with C. diff.
Sure. So let's talk about C. diff a little bit, because I didn't know much about this. What is that? What is your treatment that treats that?
So C. difficile bacteria is in the class of bacteria called Firmicutes, which some level of Firmicutes are required in your microbiome. You have 6 classes of bacteria in your microbiome. That's positive bacteria that makes you not get infected by, every bacteria that comes through your system, your GI tract. It protects you from getting diabetes and cancer and other diseases. Unfortunately, the C. difficile, which is one of the Firmicutes, when it colonizes, because of an imbalance in your microbiome, it colonizes through your GI tract in your colon, and it kills 29,000 people a year. Most people get it either in a hospital setting or in a nursing home.
Interesting.
So you go in for a hip replacement or a knee replacement, and you come into contact with this bacteria, it colonizes, and you wind up with a worse problem than you went in for.
Yeah, oh goodness, okay. So does the company need funds? Like, where are you with that right now?
We have the funding that we need to get through this critical phase 2B trial that we're in with our ibezapolstat treating patients with C. difficile. The data's been amazing thus far. We're over 25% enrolled at this point, and we're analyzing options for how to speed things up with enrollment and to try to close out our phase 2B as soon as possible, so that hopefully we can move on to phase 3. And that'll depend a bit on the data, and we're kind of analyzing that right now. Yeah. But we are funded now. We did our last public offering in July. We went public June of 21. So we feel fortunate to be where we are. We have institutional presence in our shareholder base. And with the NASDAQ listing, naturally, it helps. If you need money, you can raise it. But our objective, we have a new class of antibiotics. There hasn't been a new class since 1984. It really does belong. Big pharma wants to have cutting-edge medicine, first of a new class of medicine that's got significantly higher cure rates. We hope that continues than anything out there to treat C. diff. And that really does belong in the bag of the sales and marketing folks at a big pharma, whether it's an Eli Lilly, a Merck, a Pfizer, like that.
Yeah. No, so you've clearly tapped the capital markets. I mean, what about grants? Are there other ways of funding?
Yes, we file for grants regularly. They come available under RFPs or requests for proposal from Carbex, Wellcome Trust, Gates Foundation. The NIH has RFPs 2 or 3 times a year, and we continue to apply for those, primarily for our earlier stage preclinical product, because that product, the non-dilutive funding is more to get products into the limelight than it is to fund things that are in phase 2B, because say the Wellcome Trust may look at a 2B program and say, okay, this thing is just about ripe enough that a big pharma will take it. Whereas something in preclinical maybe needs an extra push that other drugs just aren't going to get at that level.
And your drug is in phase 2B.
Our lead drug, yes.
Lead drug right now. So if it's successful, do you think this will be used front line instead of the current treatment, vancomycin? Am I even saying that right?
Vancomycin.
Vancomycin, okay.
Yeah, you know, so we think our drug would be used front line. We're sure of it, in fact, if the data continues that we've already seen.
Okay.
So why do I say that? And by the way, those who write the treatment guidelines from the Infectious Disease Society of America tell us that if one of the new drugs gets approved to treat C. diff infection, vancomycin will no longer even be on the recommended list because it's got a 20 to 40% recurrence rate. So you cure the infection and then a month later it's back. And it just keeps happening again and again and again. So it's 60 years old. It's got serious misgivings for a frontline therapy in any indication. So yeah, what we do is we restore the microbiome, so the healthy bacteria that protects a person in the gut from getting any disease, in addition to getting reinfected with the C. diff. We're restoring that by the end of day 3 of treatment, data shows so far. And also at the end of day 3 of treatment, twice a day dosing, we're curing 100% of the infections, which is, you know, it's just not seen. Small numbers, but as I say, if this trend, if those two trends continue, then we will have differentiated ourselves from all of the products that are out there to treat C. diff. There's very few, but beyond vancomycin, which would be off the list, Merck's fidaxomicin comes to mind, but it too has about a 15% recurrence rate. So our pharmacoeconomic argument to healthcare providers would be, hey, if you use our product frontline, you're going to save all the costs of getting these patients back into the hospital. So you have the hospital visit, all the medicines they're getting in the hospital for the reinfection. So if you use our product frontline, you can avoid all of those downstream costs because there won't be reinfections.
Well, we look forward to that. And I know it's an issue, that hospitals and nursing homes and infections, and some people don't even like to go to the hospital because they're afraid they're going to get more sick when they go. So but they kind of need to be there to be treated. So it's a huge issue.
Catch-22.
It absolutely is. Well, please come back when you get your clinical data, and
will do.
Thank you. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much, David.
Nice to meet you.
Thousands of people use Phantom every day to access DeFi, NFT, Metaverse, and GameFi decentralized applications. On Phantom, you can trade, lend, and borrow in a fully decentralized way with instant speed and near zero fees. Whether you're an artist or a collector, there's a rich and accessible NFT ecosystem to explore. Join your friends in the Metaverse for exciting digital experiences or play revolutionary Web3 games. Join Phantom today.
Out of control inflation, escalating government debt, gas and energy bills burning through your savings, and a spiraling war in Europe. The world feels like a very uncertain place right now, and it's harder and harder to take control of your money and safeguard your savings. I mean, why would anyone want to keep their money in a bank that's only going to lend it out for its own profit? Putting your savings at risk, and for what? A pittance in interest? Well, let me tell you about Glint and how they can help you to save in real gold you can spend like dollars. Now, first off, Glint's not a bank or crypto or some new type of credit card. What Glint provides is the ability and freedom to buy, save, and spend real allocated gold that's secured in Brink's vaults and insured by Lloyd's of London. Glint's Smart app and MasterCard is leading the payments revolution, putting you in control of your money by making real gold, trusted for thousands of years, into an instant, secure, digital currency for the modern world. Best of all, your gold is always your gold, with no one else's liability. It's secure and allocated to you. It never goes away, even in a crash. To learn more, go to glentpay.com or download Glent from your favorite app store. It's time to take control of your money and protect it with the time-tested security of gold and the modern digital convenience of Glent. Gold is security. Glent, it's key.
Soho Properties has just launched its latest investment offering. This is the New York City Structured Finance Fund. And with me is the CEO of Soho Properties, Sharif El-Gamal, to explain what this is all about, what's the strategy. Tell me about this new fund.
We are right now in one of the most uncertain times that we've ever experienced as investors. And we have also had the experience of being in the real estate markets for 20 plus years. And we've noticed that there's an inefficiency right now in the market for us to be able to participate and offer a structured financed product where we're going to be able to offer investors a 12% annual return on monies invested with us through this product directly into structured, secured debt positions collateralized by incredible assets in Manhattan.
It's real estate.
It's real estate.
Okay, I mean, because that's what you do. So you would know when the value is in that kind of property.
Yes, but it's not just me. You're not just relying on us as Soho Properties. There's going to be a very rigorous process for us to qualify an asset to come into the portfolio that we're going to be building within the fund vehicle that we're putting together. They're appraised. Third parties are going to be appraising them. You know, CBRE, Cushman Wakefield, Newmark, all the household names in our industry are really going to be putting that stamp of approval on what's the appraised value of the asset. And our objective is to participate in a senior secured position with a max loan to value exposure, or LTV exposure, of 75%. We're going to be targeting between 55 to 60, but we're putting a window of up to 75%. So for example, in the simplest of terms, an asset that's worth $100 million, we would be participating in the last dollars of up to $75 million, and really being able to provide our investors and partners equity-like returns in a structured vehicle, but having the security of having a first lien on the property, and also having a pledge of the equity interests, so that God forbid, if something was to go wrong, we would be able to immedately jump in and take control of the asset. That's not the objective at all of the strategy.
But that's just kind of a backup.
Backup. Well said.
Is this residential, commercial, both?
Really asset agnostic.
Okay.
I think we are leaning more towards hospitality and residential assets. We understand those quite well, but we're really asset agnostic as to what the asset is going to be, but it's got to be a prime asset with real upside and real security. Yeah,
and it's interesting you talk about kind of this inefficiency in the market right now, because it is a weird time. What do you think it is about this time in terms of macro strategy that makes it right for an investment like this?
There's no liquidity in the markets. There's literally, it's become impossible for you as a borrower to go out and find real liquidity. Banks have shut their gates. The shutters are down, the doors are closed, they've put padlocks. Banks are not lending money right now. Banks are, hoarding cash. I think that there's a real inefficiency in the capital markets, and we recognized it. Also, over the last 10 years of Soho Properties, lenders have made incredible returns on the back of our projects. So we've had this experience where we have the sophistication and acute understanding of the capital stack and realize that right now there's this window of opportunity for us to come in and really provide, in a way, I don't want to call it rescue capital, but real capital and real liquidity for great assets with good sponsors that that need just a little bit of a push to finish executing their business plan, and we recognize this window in the market.
Yeah, is it investor sentiment, you think, this kind of pessimism that we're seeing about the economy and big cities and things like that is leading to the inefficiency?
I think yes and no. I think it's I think it's higher up than just the investors. I think that our policymakers, I think on a global level, there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
There's so much uncertainty about where are interest rates going. Are we we know that we're in an inflationary period right now. And it's really important to also recognize that historically, during inflationary periods, hard assets, which this is a hard asset strategy, okay, it's your money is going into a hard asset. This is the best place for you right now to remove your monies out of the volatility that you're experiencing in stock markets, in public equities. There's incredible volatility.
Yeah.
And every smart person is saying that we haven't seen the worst of it yet.
Yeah.
So we're offering right now investors a completely different strategy for them to place their money, get the benefit of a secured position, but also get the benefit of hedging their equities and their monies in a hard asset.
Yeah.
So it's a very compelling strategy with respect to where we are right now on a global macro scale. And again, it's New York, the global capital of the world.
Is this open to anybody to invest in, and how can somebody invest in this fund?
This is open, yes, if you have the liquidity, if you have the desire, if you're accredited, come to our website, sohoproperties.com, hit one of the tabs, and one of our capital market associates will brief you and further show you what we're doing and what we're offering.
Okay, fascinating, and glad to hear you're so optimistic about property in New York.
Thank you. New York's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, good to hear.
Jane, thank you for having me on your show.
Thanks so much, Sharif.
Thank you.
Thousands of people use Phantom every day to access DeFi, NFT, Metaverse, and GameFi decentralized applications. On Phantom, you can trade, lend, and borrow in a fully decentralized way with instant speed and near zero fees. Whether you're an artist or a collector, there's a rich and accessible NFT ecosystem to explore. Join your friends in the Metaverse for exciting digital experiences or play revolutionary Web3 games. Join Phantom today.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Phixey is a club for cell phones, tablets, and laptop owners. It's full of benefits, including repairs, which most of us have been through. With me is Alexandra Poirier, who is the head of communications from Phixey, to tell us about the company. So let's just start. Give me an overview of what Phixey is doing, Alexandra.
So Phixey is a club for owners of cell phones, tablets, computers, laptops, and wearable devices, like AAA is for car owners.
Okay. So is Phixey like an insurance company for devices?
No, we are a club. We do not have monthly premiums, and there's no deductibles.
Okay. And so considering everybody has a cell phone, just about everybody, and a few other devices as well, is this a huge industry? I would think it would be an enormous industry.
Well, cell phones and tablets have become very expensive, some over $1,000. So let's say you purchase a cell phone for $1,200 and you break it and you need to get it fixed and it costs $400. Why wouldn't you? The problem is that $400 is still a lot of money.
And how much does an average repair cost?
Between $150 to $800 depending on the device. Tablets, smartwatches, laptops, they're even more.
Yeah, okay. And will Phixey fix it for free if you're a member?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a deductible? Is there anything else that you charge besides a membership fee?
No, because remember, we're not an insurance company, so there's no monthly premiums and no deductibles.
And so the monthly fee must be over $20 a month. How much is the monthly fee?
A cell phone membership is just $19.95 a year. If you were to break that down, it's $166 a month with no deductible. Phixey is about to revolutionize the cell phone repair and insurance industry. And by the way, create thousands of jobs. No longer will people have to worry about paying high repair prices, high premiums, and high deductibles.
And what is the difference between Phixey and, say, an insurance company?
Well, insurance companies charge a monthly premium of between $5 and $20. We have an annual fee of $19.95.
And are there other benefits besides the fixing of the phones or devices?
There are multiple benefits. In October, we will be launching Phixey Wireless, powered by T-Mobile. So members of Phixey will be able to receive unlimited talk and text for $10 a month. So no longer do they have to worry about high wireless fees, their devices breaking.
And then how does somebody sign up for Phixey?
You just go to Phixey.com, takes about a minute.
Okay, that's it, and pay, and that's they get you there. So, all right, anything else we need to know?
Phixey will soon be a household name. We are projected to have 20 million members in the next 2 years. As we continue to grow, we will be adding more benefits. We plan to make the world a better place by helping people save money on many aspects of their life. I just want to reiterate that a Phixey membership is just $19.95 a year, not a month, no deductibles, and if your device breaks, we will fix it for free.
And that is per device, the annual membership, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you so much, Alexandra,
Thank you.
for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
CEEK Metaverse is a virtual reality platform with concerts from top artists like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, The Killers. They digitally connect artists and athletes and other digital content creators directly to their fans in virtual worlds. And really one of the most successful metaverse companies, I think, that's going on right now, Mary Spio, who is the CEO and founder of CEEK Metaverse. So great to see you again. And let's just start. I gave a little overview, but give me an overview of what CEEK is doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're providing the tools for digital content creators, for artists and sports teams, et cetera, to be able to connect to their fans in the metaverse. And, we're probably one of the first that ever created this platform to allow artists and digital content creators to be able to do that, not just in our own proprietary metaverse, but also on Oculus, on HTC, and iOS, Android, and all of that.
Yeah, you were really one of the first groups that I had talked to that was kind of doing the metaverse. I don't think even at the time we were saying metaverse, we were saying more like virtual reality, but that's basically what you were doing at the time.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I presented to Facebook back in, I think it was 2014 or 2015.
Oh, wow.
And I spoke specifically of the metaverse. We did an application where we talked about going beyond gaming and having people in these social environments, watching movies, watching concerts, watching games. So if you think about where the metaverse is today, and you look at that presentation that we did to Facebook, Oculus, you will see that it's the vision that's being realized today.
Yeah, wow, how fascinating. I had no idea that you were working on this that long ago. So you just had a new show, the debut live.
Yes.
So tell me about that show. How does that fit into the whole CEEK ecosystem?
So the Debut Live is an exclusive show, which is hosted and co-created by the Billboard head of hip hop music. So he created it as a show to interview different musical artists on their debut album. And we had The Game on there, who was with Kim Kardashian and, of course, has worked with Dr. Dre and 50 Cent and, a lot of different artists. And so that was a huge hit, being that he shared a lot of information that hasn't been shared before in terms of his relationship with Kim Kardashian. So it just really caught on fire. But how that fits in, when you think about the CEEK Metaverse, these are all virtual clubhouses that people can go into and they can meet with others, whether it's their avatars or their real person. But we've created this digital visualization of clubhouses, and people, whether it's through NFTs or fan experiences, can come and really be with their favorite artists.
Mm-hmm. And there have been a lot of metaverse companies kind of popping up over the past couple of years. How would you say CEEK is different from some of the newer ones?
A lot of what we see a lot of metaverse companies. We see some that are doing some serious stuff, but a lot are also what I consider three guys in a PPT, with some GIFs, and just really looking to capitalize on the metaverse experience and, ride the wave. But the legitimate ones that I see are building, in different ways. And how we differentiate is the fact that we have these realistic worlds that are, we bring the real world into the metaverse. Our focus is on mainstream adoption. I think a lot of the other companies are focused on building these new experiences and creating audiences to come to them. The problem with that and what they're doing is the fact that with any technology, if you don't have mainstream adoption, then the technology is not going to fly. So we've been this successful today because we're super focused on making the metaverse relevant. And that's our big differentiator, is that it's not just for a small subsect, but for everyone, to be part of the metaverse.
Do you worry about the competition, or do you think that that's better for the metaverse industry in general?
It's better for the metaverse industry in general, because they're all building different things. And if you think about the internet today, the metaverse is the next iteration of the internet. Today, we have over 2 billion websites. We have tens of billions of devices that are connecting. One company cannot build the metaverse. I think that's why Facebook is supporting companies such as CEEK. Meta is supporting companies such as CEEK, because they realize that one company cannot build the metaverse. So we welcome the legitimate companies that are building something, that are building utility for the metaverse. We're very excited about that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And what is the latest in metaverse? I mean, it seems like every day there's some new breakthrough or technology. What's the latest?
The latest that I see, I saw a recent article from Time Magazine. And when I see stuff like that, I think that it's validating that the time is coming. It's coming of age. The metaverse is coming of age when you're seeing places like Time Magazine cover it. So the latest is a lot of the mainstream media trying to connect the dots. I think I saw something on Rob Report also talking about what is the metaverse. So people are beginning to realize that it's not a phase, it's not something for a small group of gamers, but that this is how we're going to live, work, and play moving forward.
Yeah, so interesting. And what about CEEK? What's next with CEEK?
What's next with CEEK? You know, we continue to do the land sale, and the land sale is really just the marketplace of the future, the app stores of the future. I talked about 2 billion apps that are being built. We couldn't possibly build it all by ourselves. And so we've opened the CEEK platform for other developers to be able to build their own applications of what they want to see in the world in CEEK. And we have the debut live. We have, you know, some big artists coming up next, and we're just super, super excited. The people are really taking to these VR clubhouses and the metaverse, and brands are also just equally excited about, you know, dropping NFTs and airdrops and interacting with our users.
So just real quick, Mary, so for somebody who's kind of interested in this, but they don't even know where to begin, like, I guess you start with VR headsets, right? And then an app, the CEEK app, and then that's how you enter the CEEK metaverse. That's what somebody needs to do. Okay.
Yes. So if you have no idea what we're talking about, just go to the App Store, iOS or Android, download the CEEK app, and the CEEK is CEEK. You download the app, you see all these different venues, just enter it, and you can use your hand even on the phone to move around and see what's happening. And then to have the next level of experience, you could pick up a VR headset. We have our own VR headset. You could pick up the Oculus, which we recommend also, and be able to, you know, experience. It's a phenomenal world. And once you try it, there's no going back. You know, there's really no going back.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. I've been in it too, so I should really do it more because it is kind of a very unique experience. So
yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mary. Great to have an update, and look forward to the next one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I always love coming on your show, Jane.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Virios Therapeutics is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing and commercializing innovative antiviral therapies. And with me is the CEO, Greg Duncan, to explain the company and what all you're working on. So let's just give me an overview of Virios and what you're working on.
Well, thank you first for having me today, Jane. So Virios Therapeutics is a late-stage biotechnology company developing combination antiviral therapies to treat chronic diseases. Diseases like fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and a host of fatigue-related disorders. Why, you ask, are we developing antiviral therapies for these diseases? Well, for context, it may shock you to know that you, me, everybody here in the studio is infected with about 6 common viruses. The good news, as discomforting as that is the immune system does a very good job of keeping those viruses in a dormant state. Unfortunately, for a subset of those patients, the virus gets activated and leads to the disease sequelae that's associated with fibromyalgia in particular. And so we're developing these combination antiviral therapies to get this virus from an active state into a dormant state. And I'm pleased to tell you we have clinical evidence that our lead compound, IMC-1, delivers significant clinical benefits for patients with fibromyalgia.
I was going to ask about that. So IMC-1, so that is showing promise. Has it been through, what, phase 2 clinical study? Or
yeah.
Where are you at with that? Okay.
IMC-1 is a combination antiviral therapy combining 2 existing therapies, famciclovir and celecoxib, into a fixed-dose antiviral combination. One inhibits viral replication, the other stops the replication from happening at an accelerated rate. And through administration of IMC-1 in a phase 2A trial, we've shown significant pain reduction, reduction in fatigue, reduction in anxiety and depression, and improvement in functionality for patients who meet the diagnostic criteria for fibromyalgia. IMC-1 is presently the focus of a phase 2B trial, which will deliver top-line results September of this year, so about a month from now. And we hope we can further validate IMC-1's effectiveness, its tolerability, and its safety. And with that data, we'll get down to FDA and scope out what the phase 3 development program looks like, with the hopes of getting this drug to these patients.
Sounds very promising.
I hope so.
And your team and board of directors, so explain the team and who is all behind the company.
I am privileged to be working with a fantastic team. So in addition to myself, Dr. Mike General, our Chief Medical Officer, has a long history in developing compounds in this particular area. Mike, myself, Angela Walsh, Ralph Grosswald, and our board of directors have developed and commercialized a number of household name drugs. For example, my first drug launch was a drug called Zoloft, which was a terrific medication for millions of patients with depression.
Yeah.
Importantly, this team has been involved in the development and commercialization of 2 of the 3 drugs previously approved by FDA to treat this particular condition. So we know the space quite well, and we'll bring that experience to bear on allowing IMC-1 to reach its full potential.
Yeah, and it sounds like they also know the FDA process pretty well, which is something you would need to know because I'm sure it's complicated.
No doubt. And
Yeah.
Dr. Genro, in addition to being a co-founder of a company that developed and launched a fibromyalgia drug, actually was a consultant with the Food and Drug Administration to help them scope out the regulatory process that was used to approve those 3 drugs, Lyrica, Cymbalta, and Savella. And so we have somebody in our team who really knows the process quite well, and with good data, we hope to have a very successful conversation with FDA to get the nod to move to phase 3 with the goal of getting IMC-1 into the hands of these millions of people who suffer from fibromyalgia.
Yeah. Well, best of luck, and I look forward to an update once you get this top-line clinical data out.
Thank you,
Greg,
Jane, for having me
so
today.
much.
I appreciate it.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Sekur is a secure way to send messages, email, other platforms, particularly for businesses and also individuals. With me is the CEO, Alain Ghiai, to talk about, Alain, every week we talk and there's a new phishing or a hacking attempt, and this week is no different. So what are you seeing this week?
Well, you're right. Every week is a new phishing and hacking. And now that back to school is kind of over and businesses are back on track, I just got 2 hours ago from an attorney who actually sent me on WhatsApp, mind you, sent me something that said, did you receive an invoice that says, you know, you owe us this and the new wire transfer info is here, meaning new wire transfer information. I said, no. Then he said, well, one of my customers got it from blah, blah, blah.com, their website. And essentially, the hackers changed the domain, something that's an S, it sounds like Z or Z, sorry, for us in America, Z. And basically, it's an easy mistake to make, right? You would get this and like, oh, I need to change the wire. So next time you get an invoice from your service provider, an accountant, a lawyer, you know, a supplier, now you will wire that money to these hackers. This is classic. I mean, I was sitting down with our auditors having lunch, who also talked to me about other issues their clients are having. So it's just rampant, right? So that's why we try to protect with our secures and features.
And I just saw a new one today, that it's a fake Venmo money. Like someone's trying to give you money on Venmo and it's a fake, and they, you know, you click on it and it downloads malware or whatever. So, I mean, are we getting any better at recognizing these, do you think?
You know, there was a BBC segment my wife was telling me, because we do watch a lot of that, and it says that the economy is geared for the lazy. And Venmo is one of those things. When I was in New York, I had an Uber, and I think I wanted to book him again. I said, I only pay with Uber credit card. He said, no, but I can do Venmo. You know, sometimes if you have a good driver, you want to book them separately again. And, you know, I installed the thing and I'm like, I'm deinstalling it. You know that they're going to use big tech. They're going to sell your emails galore. They use AWS like everybody else, and they will get hacked. And sure enough, they are being hacked. And it's not so much that because they use AWS or something, is that all the emails that we use from big tech are being resold all the time. and there's no good security on it. So we need to really be proactive and think and use our critical thinking. Just like when you receive an email, you need to check the domain where it came from and so forth, because machines can do so much. As a matter of fact, on our secure messenger here, I had a shareholder who just thanked me for the answer. He said, how can Secure prevent email phishing and malicious software and so forth being attached to it? I gave him the answer, because we have filters, we have technology that does it. Even having all of that, you still need to be, I did say, we still recommend people to double check their email. There's no two ways about it. You can try to get some better technology like what we have, or use Secure Send, Secure Reply, which is a closed loop system, so the emails don't go in the open web. And that way the hackers don't even know that you're sending an email back and forth with your partners, supplier, lawyers, etc. And businesses, I mean, there's millions of dollars at stake when you get hacked. IBM has a study that updated the damage now to $9 million every time a business is hacked, and they can't afford that, and they can't afford the multiple millions of dollars of IT department and budget, right? They just can afford barely their $200 a month for services, and that's it. So we feel for them. In fact, we're launching small business services, and we can see there'll be a big demand for that.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine small businesses are, targeted, just like everybody. I'm targeted.
Everybody. Yeah.
Another thing I've gotten a lot of is, there's a message for you on this voicemail. Click this voicemail. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure somebody didn't send me an email and there's a voice message for me. So it is kind of, you just learn after time what looks weird, what looks suspicious, what not to click on, because that's really how most of these companies infiltrate is through email.
That's it. And email is 94% of all the hacks. In fact, somebody else was telling me, another shareholder, actually, I got a lot of shareholders who have funny stories, not funny actually, but unfortunate, but definitely examples of why they got into Sekur as a product and as an investment as well, obviously. One of them had a company, it's a printing company. They got hacked. It took them 2 years to recover data that they had to ask each of their customers, reconstitute the data essentially. And all of the hack came because of email leaks. So, we underestimate that because we only think it has to do with the back end. But what they do, just like this lawyer whose client was hacked, they were monitoring that client. They knew that that client does business with that lawyer, and that lawyer's domain name was changed. It's not like the lawyer was hacked. They changed the domain name that looks like the lawyer's name. So when the client got an invoice and said, this is our new wire info, now in the future, the legitimate invoices will be paid to the hackers. Yeah. It's just unreal. We have to really think hard and use tools that can prevent as much as possible that sort of thing. And now September is back. It's going to be full swing in business. Summer's over. Activity is increasing.
Yeah. Well, and you've talked about how the election is in the U.S. One of those things that a lot of people are going to be sitting, they know people are emotionally involved, and they might be sending emails, click on this to see this candidate or whatever.
That's it.
We got to really be aware of that.
Yes, you have to be very aware of it. You have to be very careful, and you have to think before you react.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alain, for always good advice, and we all need to listen more to it.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Mikra is a biological wellness and consumer wellness company. And with me is the CEO, Faraaz Jamal, to talk about Mikra. And then the parent company is Lifeist, right? So we'll explain that corporate relationship a little bit, but let's start with Mikra. And I mean, it was really interesting to read about it because you're working with wellness on the cellular level.
Yep.
So explain what you're doing.
Yeah, so I always say that Mikra is a biological sciences company first and a consumer wellness company second. And how I explain that is essentially we work with the most bioactive compounds humanly possible, and then we pair it with our direct-to-cell technology. So we ensure that those bioactive compounds actually make it directly into your bloodstream and absorbed by your body.
Okay, so is this a pill that you take? Or?
No, we call it actually a nutraceutical gel.
Okay, so how does it work?
Yeah, so once you actually ingest what we call self, it goes through your body and it's absorbed in your jejunum, just slightly lower in your small intestine, directly by having your cells basically signaled and then allowing them to be absorbed directly.
So how do I absorb it? Do I drink it like a powder or what?
No, it's actually more like, think of it more as like a nut butter. So you just put it into your spoon or into your smoothie and just drink it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now explain the science behind it. Like, what does it do? How does it help with wellness?
Yeah, so we feel that that health actually starts at a cellular level. So at the most microscopic level, that's where Mikra's products are meant to actually impact your health. So I always describe your health as a still pond. And if you throw in like a really, really large rock, you start to see these reverberations just work out from where the rock hit in the pond. That's exactly how Mikra's first flagship product works. So once you do take it, it creates a whole bunch of chain reactions at a cellular level that can have impacts on your brain, your cardio, as well as your skin and your digestive health. So we essentially wanted to create total body wellness just from the microscopic level.
Okay, so it's like starting, it's almost like hydration. Like you got to start
Yeah.
with like the basic, right? And then go from there.
That's exactly it. It's essentially cellular nutrition. So we're really excited about that. And one of the things I always ask everyone is essentially, do you take a multivitamin? And if you do take a multivitamin, the majority of the time you're thinking that it's really benefiting your health and things like that. But quite honestly, if you don't have a mineral deficiency or anything of the sort, the multivitamin's kind of lost. Like you don't really absorb it at all, and quite honestly, how much innovation have you seen on the multivitamin, right? It's still just a capsule or a powder or anything like that. So we wanted to go one step further. So Self, our first iteration of our flagship product, it affects everything. So your brain, your nervous system, your muscle, your recovery. It works very, very quickly on some, and the benefits can cascade into better recovery from workouts, better sleep, better recall, spatial awareness, a whole host of things.
Yeah, I was going to ask about like what would be the day-to-day differences that people would notice.
Yeah.
So that would be it. Now, is there a precision medicine involved? Like, how do I know that my, my, peanut butter, I'll call it, would be different than somebody else's? How does that work?
Yeah, so your body and your cellular system is super smart. So that's why we're actually not customizing our product to every single individual, because we feel that your body can do the work itself. We're a bunch of chemical reactions, so we're giving you the basic building blocks to make those chemical reactions. So if you're low on a particular enzyme or anything, we give you the precursor to that enzyme, and your body has the decision to whether or not it does need to manufacture that or not.
Okay, whether it needs it or not.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now I introduced you as the parent company is Lifeist,
Correct.
so which also does some other things in the wellness area.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so Lifeist is a health and wellness tech company that incubates other companies to bring them to profitability. So that's exactly what they're doing here for Mikra. They're investing heavily in Mikra because they believe in the future and the potential there, and they'll continue to incubate us all the way to profitability, and that's generally the relationship.
Okay, and just talk to me about the wellness industry in general. Like, I feel like during the pandemic, we became super aware of vitamin D and all these kind of things. I mean, is that what you're seeing from a consumer point of view?
I'm seeing a very stressed out and confused consumer.
Because of the pandemic or just life in general?
I think that, honestly, it's actually funny. Yeah, the pandemic was, I think it exacerbated a lot of issues. People were already stressed out, and now they're super stressed out about what's happening at a microscopic level. All the items with the vaccines and the RNA and so forth, everybody's kind of diving deeper at their health, but there's no real solution yet to actually impact your cellular health in the best way. If you walk into any store right now, you're going to be assaulted with a bunch of different supplements. And they're generally all pills, right? They're all just pseudo, they're all essentially the same. They all have roughly the same ingredients and things like that. But nobody's actually innovating on the delivery system. A lot of products right now have that liposomal type coating, which ensures that it passes through your gastric environment, which is also something that we employ with our products. But once it gets through your gastric environment, there are not a lot of products out there that have the right biological delivery system so that you are actually absorbing your health. So the pandemic has, I think, increased the total addressable market for supplements, but it's made it more crowded and more confusing. It's funny, we ran a customer survey 6 or 7 months ago, and we just asked individuals what they thought of the health and wellness industry, and a whole bunch of questions related to that. And the number one thing that stuck with me from that survey was people said that it was hard to be healthy. So we have all of these choices out there and all this opportunity, but everybody is still finding it very, very difficult to actually be healthy. So that's what we're looking to solve. If you just have to take this one product per day and it takes 10 seconds, and then you start to feel those benefits really, really quickly, it almost makes it super simple.
And where can somebody find the products?
So right now it's primarily sold at wearemikra.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming to explain this.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome everyone to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with host Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Secure Private Data. Welcome, Alain.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everyone.
All right, we've got the weekly hack for you. And so the world's most popular password manager, LastPass, it was hacked, and source code, technical information, all kinds of stuff was stolen. So when it comes to passwords and the 8,000 different passwords we have to remember to keep our data safe and secure, what are some tips you have for us, and how can we make sure our privacy is secured?
Well, if you use the password manager, it's already a good step. Unfortunately, most of them, are prone to hacking. I don't think it's the first time that LastPass got hacked. There's also Dashlane, I think that's another one way back that got hacked. We do have a password manager in our Secure suite, which is a little bit more expensive because it's a tool for, you have consumers, but it's mostly for small business. You have a file share, data backup, email, and password manager. I have close to 900 passwords between the corporate and my personal. So it adds up, and our password manager generates a password. You have a strength meter. It's so strong that some of the banks don't accept even. We have to minimize the security, which is really odd. Some banks are still using old ways to secure their passwords. But with this event, I had a chat with my engineers, and we've decided to really launch our own password manager once and for all, because we've had so many requests, and we didn't think there would be a need because you have other password managers. So I think in Q1 at some point, or maybe year end, we'll see what we can come up with. We will launch our own password manager. It'll be extremely affordable. It'll be less than $10 a month for sure. It'll be more competitive than these other ones that you see. And the reason why all these passwords get hacked, these managers, is because when you install it, they synchronize with the browser and they let you log in automatically. Whereas ours, you have to still manually copy and paste when you go to a website, and we don't take over your browser and your device. That's a huge thing. This is in line with our privacy policy, our privacy thoughts, because we want to have that wall between your data, even a password manager, and a browser or other website. So it takes an extra 30 seconds maybe to log in, but it's well worth it because nobody can come suddenly and hack you. And then they have access to all the stuff that you are logging in. So we're going to try to finally get something out for the consumer out there because, people can't pay $50 a month every time. We're going to make it single-digit dollar a month or $10 a year. Could be an add-on to our SKUR suite. We'll see. But it's our suite of SKUR, meaning the email and Messenger. So we're hopefully getting something like that end of the year. So it's not like somebody can just look you up in your phone number and then send you something. And we've been discussing, it's amazing for teenagers and kids. There is a cost, but it's well worth it. Because if you want to have, as a teen or adults actually, get a lot of bullying in our society where, social media rules and everybody is better than everybody else. And we have all these societal issues right now because of social media. But basically, everybody's being bullied one form or another. If you don't want to communicate with somebody or not receiving these things that are unwanted, get Secure Messenger because it will only accept the people in your circle. It's $5 a month, $50 a year, but I would like to give a promo code to our viewers, SEKUR15, SEKUR15, and you get 15% off. So it comes to, maybe like $35 a year. A family is bad. You can buy as many licenses. A family can have its own circle of chat in full privacy. This is a big need that's coming more and more. We build this for businesses, but we realize as the consumer comes and buys multiple licenses that you have families buying this. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want unsavory images being sent to you and people harassing you nonstop, get Secure Messenger, give your secure number to your friends only. You can also create groups. It's really amazing. And of course, extremely private, easy to use, and of course, secure. So I would recommend that for back to school. That would be a great gift to give your kid.
Right, right, or just ourselves as parents. I'm a parent myself, so I would definitely rest assured once my daughter's of age to begin messaging to have that technology on her phone. So great stuff that you're creating at Sekur, and you've got wonderful updates coming up in these next few months. So we always love keeping in touch with you and learning about what to do to make sure our data is private and secure. Thank you so much for joining us again, Alain.
Thanks, Anna. Happy to be here and see you guys all next week.